All right, a few things that you need to remember when telling time. You learned about time in second grade, and we touched on it just a little bit this week, time intervals. But some things that you need to remember is that on a clock, every time the minute hand passes 12, it's going to be a new hour. So if it is, say, 4:45, okay, 4:45, when this minute hand passes the 12, we've now moved to a new hour, and it will be 5 o'clock. So we know every time this minute hand goes past the 12, when it goes past the 12, that's when our hour hand moves from 1 hour to the next hour, okay? You also know that 60 minutes equals 1 hour. Now, when we were doing time intervals earlier this week, they were working with big numbers like 133 minutes. Well, you know that 60 minutes of that is an hour. So every time you can take 60 out of that, that's an hour. So you would take that number like 133 minus 60 and keep subtracting 60 until you don't have enough to subtract anymore. And each set of 60 would be an hour. But we're not going to work with numbers that big, okay? Let's look at some examples and talk about time intervals. Let's see how much time has passed from 12:15 to 3 o'clock. So put on your clock, 2:15 to 3. So put your clock at 2:15. We need our hour hand at 2 and our minute hand on the 3 for 15. It is 2:15. All right. Now, we need our clock to look like this, 3 o'clock, right? So we've got to find out how much time has passed, okay? So we're going to go back to 2:15. And we know that to be 3 o'clock, this hand needed to be here. So let's count 2:15. We're going to count by fives to get us there, okay? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. All right, so the time interval from 2:15 to 3 o'clock is 45 minutes, okay? 45 minutes. Let's do another one. Let's look at 1:15 to 2:07. Let's make our clocks show 1:15. We're going to put our hour hand on the 1, that's the short hand, and our minute hand on the 5. So this is 1:15, okay? This is what 1:15 looks like. Now let's make our clock show 2:07. Okay, 1:15, 2, here's our 5, and then remember each little tick is 1 minute. 6, 7, okay, so this is what 2:07 would look like. So we've got to get our clocks from here, 1:15. Let's remember, I'm going to mark it where my minute hand was. We've got to get it from here, 1:15, to here. Okay, now let's count. Remember, this is where our minute hand was. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Now we've got to count our little ticks. 51, 52. Okay, so from 1:15 to 2:07 was 52 minutes. Okay, 52 minutes. Now let's look from 3:35 to 4 o'clock. Show me 3:35 on your clock. Your hour hand is at the 3, and your minute hand is going to be on the 7. Remember, count by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. All right, so this is 3:35. We need to make our clock look like this for 4 o'clock, okay? Let's go back. 3:35, And when you have your test next week, you only have 2 or 3 time questions, and you are allowed to use your clock. So keep your clock out with you. I've put pencil and paper in your pack this week. Like extra notebook paper, so you can do whatever writing and scratching you need to, okay? But yes, you can use your clock on your test. All right, so let's get from 3:35 to 4 o'clock. We're going to find the time interval. It's 3:35. Let's show 4 o'clock. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And remember, when we get to the 12, it's a new hour, so that puts us at 4 o'clock. So we have had 45 minutes, 25 minutes. All right, let's do that one again. From 3:35, we're going to get to 4 o'clock. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 25 minutes. So these are time intervals, okay? If you have a word problem that says, John Houston has baseball practice at 2 o'clock, okay? John Houston has baseball practice at 2 o'clock. His practice will be over at 3:30. How long was his practice? All right, well, we've got 2 o'clock right here. And then remember, every time we pass the 12, it's a new hour. And every 60 minutes equals an hour. So it's 2 o'clock. His practice is going to be over at 3. I went around, so it's a new hour. 3:30. Okay? When you go around the clock one complete time, that is 60 minutes. So we went around 60 minutes. And then how did we get from here to here? Well, let's count. When we were here, it was 2 o'clock at the beginning of practice. Now it's 3. Now it's 3:30. How can we figure this out? How can we figure this out? All right. If you need to count all the way around, we can do that. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Now we're at 3 o'clock, but practice is over at 3:30. So 60, let's keep counting by 5s. 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90. So his practice lasted 90 minutes. We know 60 minutes is 1 hour. So we could say, we could take those 90 minutes. Let me erase my board here real quick. All right, so we could say practice lasted 90 minutes. Okay, practice lasted 90 minutes. We can take 60 out, and that leaves us with 30. We can't subtract 60 again, can we? So we know that for every 60 we subtract, that's 1 hour. That's 1 hour. And there was an extra 30 minutes left over. So practice was 1 hour and 30 minutes. So we can say 1 hour and 30 minutes, or we can say 90 minutes. Use your clocks, okay?